Let's cross our borders now and take you to Nairobi, and that is where William Ruto has narrowly won the Kenyan presidential election with just over 50% of the vote. His rival, Raila Odinga, lost his fifth bid for the presidency after securing only 48%. Now, before the results announcement, scenes of chaos erupted at the results center. Dozens of protesters took to the streets following the release of the official result. Let's speak now to Citizen TV journalist Linus Kaikai, who was at the results center and joins me now. Mr. Kaikai, thank you very much for your time. Talking to you off air, it does seem that there is breaking news coming out of Nairobi, and this regards an election official. Are you able to tell us what happened?
It's unfortunately very bad news coming out of the Electoral Commission this morning. The news being the confirmation of the unfortunate death of one of its officials, and that is the returning officer for Embakasi East constituency, which is one of the constituencies of Nairobi. He went missing on the 11th of August, that is 2 days after the election. He was in charge of the tallying exercise at the School of Aviation east of Nairobi here. He disappeared mysteriously. Nobody knew where he had gone, only for the news to come through this morning that his body has been found in Oloitoktok town, which is in the southern county of Kajiado, very close to the border of Tanzania. The circumstances of his death remain very, very mysterious. The police do not know what else happened, except the confirmation that indeed they found the body in a mortuary in Oloitoktok town, Kajiado County, south of Nairobi.
Terrible news indeed, Linus. We're going to talk about the mood in the country at the moment, but let's try and get a little bit more. So, circumstances leading to this electoral official's death still sketchy at the moment. Has there been reaction from the Electoral Commission?
The Commission is scheduled to have a press conference later today. Remember, the Commission itself is in a bit of a disarray after yesterday's disputed release of election results. But indeed, because of a statement they had to release last week about the disappearance of the official, they've also promised that they're going to speak about the finding that indeed the official is now deceased. So we're expecting to hear from the Electoral Commission later today.
The description that you attach to the Electoral Commission is quite telling, Linus. You're using the words, they are in disarray, and we saw those visuals yesterday. If electoral officials behave in that manner, I can only imagine what that is going to do for the mood of the country. What's the situation like?
It's actually becoming a tradition. There's something laughable about it because this is a script that is being repeated. The exact script played itself out in 2017, where the commission is divided along political affiliation lines. And that goes down to how the commission in Kenya is actually constituted. It is a very highly political body where the nominations, they nominate members to go and sit in that commission. So what we are seeing also is something we saw in 2017, where the affiliation of officials actually come out to play when the election results are disputed. The statement released yesterday by the Vice Chair, Juliana Cherera, indicated that they had reservations about the numbers that are going to be announced, the tally that gave Deputy President William Ruto the win to be the next president, the fifth president of Kenya, currently president-elect. And they said they're going to issue a more detailed statement on what indeed transpired. So as at now, all we know is they are divided about the numbers, but we do not know what are the specifics. What about those numbers? Were there irregularities in the electoral process? Were there irregularities in the counting of votes and the tallying? That they are yet to tell us, and I think a lot of Kenyans are waiting to hear from the four commissioners who stormed out of the tallying center to say that they are going to dissociate themselves from the results, the final results of the presidential election.
questions in one, Linus. Firstly, the president-elect has been talking. Is he worried about whether or not this result could be turned into something else or reversed? Perhaps that could be his worst fears. But secondly, the Electoral Commission in Kenya, who does it account to? Because surely they account to someone, and if they are going to act in this fashion, that doesn't bode well for the electoral system in your country.
Absolutely, you're right. It doesn't bode well for the country if this is going to be the tradition. And I call it a tradition because this is not the first time it's happening. We've seen very active splits of the IEBC at the time of announcement of elections in 2017 and now 2022. There was a subtle one in 2013 and a more active one again in 2007. So there's a bit of a history to it. And to your question, I think it goes down to how do we really select them to those offices? Because a bit of political party affiliation is coming out to play, where some are aligned to government, some are aligned to the opposition, and that normally ends in the fashion it keeps ending, which is quite ugly. But in terms of the deputy president, he spoke yesterday, having held a rather lengthy engagement with the media for his first day as president-elect. And he was asked, are you bothered, Mr. President-elect, by the fact that 4 out of 7 commissioners have said this result is questionable? And he said, no, the returning officer of the presidential election is the chairman of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, who had already succeeded to make his announcement as per the constitution. So he laughed it off and said it doesn't matter. And and he added that if his opponents feel aggrieved, then they should raise their issues through the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Final question, Linus. The one person who could potentially unite the nation and come out and say, I accept this election result, is the opponent, and that's Raila Odinga. Has he said anything? Does it look like he is interested in verifying or lending credibility to this result?
Up to this moment, very many hours after the announcement of the presidential election results, we have not heard of or seen Mr. Raila Odinga, the leader of the Azimio party. The margin of defeat was about 200,000 votes, the lowest in the history of Kenya. We've never had an election this close. There was one that was similar to this in 2007, but ended in absolute disarray with Justice Kriegler, Johan Kriegler from South Africa, concluding in our commission hearing that it was not possible to tell who won the 2007 election. This one, we have the numbers. The numbers say there is a difference of about 200,000, and that's what separated Raila Odinga from his opponent, Deputy President William Ruto. And we've not heard from him. All we are hearing is speculation from some of his allies that, they're going to challenge this in court. The numbers are doctored by the IEBC chairperson and his allies. And they're saying they're going to challenge this in court, but this is not yet formal. As of now, we haven't heard from Raila Odinga.
Linus Kaikai, let me thank you very much for that update. A Kenyan journalist there painting a very worrying situation in Kenya.